Hello, everyone with the SBDC. I'm excited to do this recording for you. I just got back from the SBDC conference happening in Odessa, Texas, and we talked about smarter marketing. So, this is your copy of a recording of the information I went over and the slides. Of course, you still have access to those here in this area. We've moved them here, and feel free to look at those, use those, slow me down, speed me up as you need to. Let's go ahead and dive in. My name is Maria Elena Duran, and I am a speaker as well as a trainer and an actual marketing coach. So I come with that strong background. I am a business growth with Google coach. You can find me on X at Maria Duran, or you can also find me on Instagram at Marketing Coach Maria. Now, some of you know me as a business growth with Google coach, and you know that I am a national trainer with Google. And a lot of us have worked together for that. Now, today I'm not going to be speaking for Google, so you can plainly see that I am absolutely in my actual street clothes. So I'm not in any of my Google garb at all, because I am talking about artificial intelligence, AI, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of different tools that aren't specifically Google related. But we are talking today about smarter marketing with being able to utilize AI, and all of that focus is going to be towards that. I just want you to know that that's my background, and the reason that I speak on the Google team is because, let's bring that back up and center so that you, let me see, we're actually going to go past this because you have the copy of the slides right here. But the reason that I speak with the Google team is because that I actually have a background. Number one is that I come from an incubator, so I understand the value of other people's experience, and I know what it takes to be a startup. So I understand what it means when you're butcher, baker, candlestick maker in the business, as well as lifting your own product and your services and being the chief janitor, chief marketer, chief analyst, and taking care of client requests. So I understand that juggle that happens. I've earned the Texas Governor's Excellence in Small Business Award, and that helps me show that I actually do know what it's like to work in this and also succeed in this. Number two is that I've got a military background because of my family's military history and service to the US Air Force, and the fact that my mother had a business as we deployed and PCSed everywhere gives me the great opportunity to work with a team, especially military spouses that are dealing with all of that, or people transitioning from active duty to civilian life, or people at any stages of their actual business while they're still dealing with military service, because there's so many other dynamics and challenges that happen there. And the third reason is because I do come from an international e-commerce business background. So I started in business and marketing before any of the woo-woo and sexy things of having digital marketing, access to things. I mean, you're talking about when Yahoo was the search engine and Ask Jeeves is how we actually started asking for things. So this is before computers were actually available or around for students to use. So because of that, they know that I have seen and actually grown a business that started as $100,000 just in a garage to now already be at 8.1 million in an international e-commerce business. So I know what it's like to use these Google tools, not just from a theory standpoint or how to do that in a little focused lab, but actually when all these other activities are in play, as well as an ever-changing market and the way people search. So let's talk about that, because we're going to be talking today about AI and the way people search. And this is important for you to see that search is definitely changing. Now, this actually rolled over here. Not sure why it did that for me, but let's find that out. Hold on. All right, we're going to go back to that in just a moment. Let's go back a slide there. Or actually we're there, but we're going to talk about the fundamentals, because a lot of people think that AI is going to be the be all end all. And it's important for them to understand that marketing foundations are still marketing foundations. AI is a tool. It is not the creator, it's an enabler. Just like a hammer is a tool, it doesn't mean that everybody holding a hammer knows how to build a house. So understanding marketing foundations, understanding exactly what we're looking at with fundamentals of search and SEO, especially generative search, because that's changing so much. It's important for us to understand how to be seen and for your clients to understand that, because if people can't find you, you know that 84% of us do go to an absolute mobile device. We go here first when we want to know, go, do, or buy. So that is the new location, location, location. And if people can't find you there, then they don't know that you exist and they can't do business with you. We'll talk about how you can use AI and then also effective measurements of how that's working for you. Okay. All right, let's dive in then. And you see that I fixed it. We're just, that's the way we are as small businesses. We flex and we are able to be nimble, which is great. So we're very flexible and able to be nimble. So general rollout has started of Gen AI and generative search. This we know. Google announced that almost 4 weeks ago at Google I/O, and that is actually going to depend on region, just like anything else when Google rolls things out. We do know that AI has a better understanding of user intent, so it's good, and we need to know exactly what our buyer intent is. So for our clients, they need to know what their customer's intent is. Also, understanding that results are now personalized for everyone. So it's really important for you to know who your best customer is. You cannot say everyone anymore. So it doesn't mean that you can't serve everyone, but do know that if you miss that best client, you are missing who is your bread and butter. So you need to focus on voice search, because people are using their voice when they are searching now and they're asking actually out loud questions. It's also very conversational search, which I think is funny because I come from, as I said earlier, the Ask Jeeves days. So I'm used to speaking in full sentences. So that's how I started search, and to change to keywords was a little bit different, but we do see conversational search being something that just is now a part of the AI search culture. And then also we are using search in many places. So there's lots of tools, even your Google Analytics, where you're using search. So as we look at AI and SEO, because we are talking about smarter marketing with AI, we need to know that AI is great for search engine optimization. Even though search engine optimization is evolving, there are some fundamentals to it, and then there's some other considerations we need to have. Keyword research is one, knowing what the keywords and the keyword phrases are that people use. On-page optimization is understanding that content and the way the search engine looks at your content, and understand that even though I am talking about Google specifically, because that's the search engine I use, I'm search engine agnostic. So whatever you want to use, if you make it right by Google, which is the #1 search engine in the world, then that means that you make it right for any search engine, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Brave, different browsers, all of that works. Now, technical SEO is the aspects that you're looking at as far as page speed, what actual Google looks for to see confidence and to feel like it's easy for a user to use that site. So that's also important. And we can utilize AI for a lot of that. But a lot of people, when they're first starting with AI, really lean into and see a huge benefit when they try to figure out and understand the content that connects with their customers. So keywords do still matter. It's still important to have that in play, but do know that the strategy has changed now that we're looking at very personalized and as well as very full sentences and phrase searches. So it's a whole conversational search that's happening. And because of this, we need to keep in mind what AI can and cannot do. AI regurgitates content. That's all it does. It learns from you, but it is pulling its content and its lion's share of its mind from what it can find in search. And because of that, a lot of times it doesn't get the information accurate. It doesn't have personal experience. It cannot connect at the personal level with emotion or opinion. So it cannot be a thought leader, but it can help and amplify a thought leader. So I love what one of the people at Marketech when I was in Nebraska said, and he said it perfectly when he said, when you think about the Bang Theory, since Penny and the Big Bang Theory in the show was actually from Nebraska, he said, AI is like Penny explaining Sheldon's mind, okay? So that's truly what it is. Penny explaining Sheldon's mind. So that's what AI is. Now, what it can't do is what you can do as the human being. And that human factor is so critical because it is what differentiates us. And we can pick that up. You see that a lot of times, even with cultural differences. You know, if you ever saw the movie Inglorious Bastards, it's he gives himself away because he says, there are three ways to do this. When in Germany, culturally, you say three this way. not this way like we do in the US. It's the same thing with our spoken word. There are certain things when I say, hey, y'all, that is very, very much, hey, she is definitely a Texan. That's the Texas y'all, not the North Carolina y'all. And it's not you all. It is definitely a Texas drawl. So as you look at this, that's what people feel underlying that may be missing when they don't have that. And they feel that in AI. That's why skyrocketing things and just dominating things, all those words have been overused with AI results. And that's why it's important for us to even use it as a base and structure, but to always overlay a human filter on it. So it can have those personal stories, you can add those. That's the human side of it, making it more digestible, using tones and words for your audience. I will go back to my AI and even say, you know what? I want this in Gen Z format or a professional millennial or more like somebody who is a Gen Xer, who might be in a management position. So it will make adjustments like that. You can also create and teach it an inviting tone, tie in recent events, and also verify your sources because y'all, AI lies. Frankly, it lies. It will just give you an answer because you need an answer. So, one of the places that we can stand out is truly on YouTube. And the reason I bring this up is because I have been working with a lot of content creators and do know that even though there's a lot of AI around video, I've seen it in Sora, in Dolly, in Midjourney, in Pika Labs, in 11 Labs. There's a lot out there. But do understand that large language model is still the majority. That's the lion's share of what people are using. This is a chance for you to stand out uniquely. And I know TikTok's at the very top of what people are utilizing, but it's not TikTok search that people are using for a lot of their local businesses. Google search is still number one, and YouTube is a product of Google, and its results also show up in Google search. So YouTube is a great place for you to stand out. Plus, you can use that short form video just like you do with TikTok. But think for a moment, you get 1 billion views a day in TikTok, 1 billion views. And YouTube has short form, which is 60 seconds hard stop. There's the shorts, YouTube shorts, and then there's longer form that you see people when they need to figure out, how this works. How do they clean their dishwasher? How do they remove this filter? All of that they can find on YouTube. So that's long form. So if we focus just on short form, 1 billion in TikTok, 50 billion in YouTube every single day. So you can see how people may be missing out on everything that they can do within YouTube. So a lot of times they'll miss out in search just because they're looking where they're actually looking for information, and they really need to think with their best customer in mind. So before I get into how you can use AI, let's talk about where you can use AI. You can use it in your description of your Google business profile. This is where you control your information on Google search and maps. It also is where you can have great reviews, and that reputation and third-party validation is so very important. You also know that people see a lot of validity when they can find you in search. If they can't find you within the first search, so when they're looking at their mobile, if they have to swipe up more than twice, they're not going to look. You need to showcase that you're an expert at what you do. No matter their budget, they want to work with experts. You also have the opportunity to put in your products, and visual search is a real thing. People utilize their phones to snap photos and look for things visually. That has been a long time with Google Lenses AI that's been built into Androids for much longer than even when we first heard AI come onto public scene in November of 2022. So you can see here that it is a nice visual search, giving them the ability to see who has that brand and who actually has maybe even that exact product in stock because they can search visually. Or maybe they want to know who has this near me and they're just doing a visual search instead of an actual phrase or a voice search. So what's nice about that is if you know how people search and you know the words that they're looking for, now you can show up because Google's algorithm is built on 3 pillars, and each pillar has thousands of different factors. But the first one is relevancy. How well do you match what people are looking for in search, the words that they actually use, not what you think they need to use, not what industry speak says they need to use, but what do they actually use. So you need to lean into their own words. And if you don't know their words, read your reviews, because in their own words, they're telling you what matters most. Or read your competitors' reviews. If your clients are still in the ideation stage, tell them to read their competitors' reviews because competitive research is still very important. Remember what I said about the value of other people's experience? Now you can learn from your competitor, but you also have the chance not only to find out what is most important to people who are their customers, but where they may have some missteps that could be good sweet spots for you. So you also have the chance to use AI in post and in responding to reviews and in your messages. This is all good because it keeps you highly communicative and still keeping focused on who that best customer is, understanding what they need. And do understand too that it's on us to be experts on our customers. So your clients, those who are working with you building their business, it's for them to do the heavy lifting to really understand who that best customer is. It's for us to hold them accountable that they need to know that it's not everyone because they do not have the kind of budget or time to reach anybody, everybody, and somebody. And diluted messaging like that will not only confuse somebody who's looking for them, but it also removes the confidence from the search engine to know who you best serve. So are you relevant? Who knows? Because you're so vast and you're so diluted that nobody knows. So good search engine optimization means that the search engine feels confident in you. They know who you are, and it increases all of those 3 bullet point items there that you see to the right. So when we look at content, it really needs to be written for that best customer. One of the questions that I ask people often because they don't like to tie down, they always think, oh, I'm going to lose so many sales if I don't just reach for everybody. But the problem is that's actually the problem. They've diluted all of their efforts, their messaging, their targeting, everything's diluted. So they don't show up because there's a whole lot more who are hyper focused and very targeted who seem to be a better fit because they're more consistent in connecting with them and their needs. So when we look at our content, this is what we need to make decisions on is let's say we could only reach 100 and that's all that we could have 100 customers. If that was all we could have, who would be that best customer? You see, when I was telling you about the international e-commerce product, we also know that our best customers show up and shop at 2:20 in the morning. They're women between the ages of 35 and 54. They have 2 children, college educated, usually in a leadership position. Their shopping time is 2:20 in the morning, so they are not getting out of bed to get their credit card. So it's really important that we make sure that we have things like Shop Pay, Amazon Pay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all of those connected because they want a tool that already can make it easy for them to buy from us. But then also, we don't post things till 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that we couldn't help anybody that has a dog because it's a dog product. So we could, but we don't want to miss on the best customer. Everybody else is just gravy. So when you think about that, publishing great content and the titles and descriptions and being organized, you need to do all of that for who the best customer is. Everybody else is gravy. And we love to do business with them, but they are not the only ones we want to do business with. We need to focus and make sure that we rise above everyone else so that when they find us online, they know exactly that this is who can help us. This is who understands. This is who has the product, service, or solution that I need. Now you can see in Google Analytics also this measures their action and what they do on the site. Remember what I said about online being the front door? This is your location, location, location now. Well, just like any location, you need to know how your location works. If people come in and they shop in aisle one and aisle three and they leave and they don't do anything, you need to know what is it that you need to change. Or if they come in the afternoon and go from aisle one to four and three and they buy something, you've got questions of is it aisle four that something's going on? Is it the afternoon people that are my better customers that I'm more suited for them and maybe cutting off at 5 o'clock in the evening is not the best time to do that because maybe I'm cutting out who could be that best potential customer. So Google Analytics, we actually have analytics intelligence now. We can search right there and find out what our engagement rate is because bounce rate doesn't matter anymore. We all have different devices, right? Any given day, we may hop to different devices. From the phone, I might throw it to my tablet or iPad when I'm at a coffee shop or to a laptop and then throw it over to my desktop when I'm at the office and I go home and I throw it to my smart TV. So every one of those is considered a bounce, but it's still me. I'm an engaged customer. So that's why it's important for us to know engagement rate. Now you can go into analytics and ask analytics what it's good to look at and what's the average there. So now you know how you stack against industry standards. There's also Google Trends. This is is a great tool for you to use to see what's going on as far as people are searching, not just in popularity across the United States, but also maybe you're looking specifically at a certain city or maybe around a certain topic. For example, when I was going into Oklahoma City, and that day I was wanting to see what people were searching in Oklahoma City, what was active, because I was about to take the stage and talk about marketing and targeted marketing. And I found out that the number one searched item or searched person on for that day was Ariana Grande. And I was like, what in the world does Oklahoma City have to do with Ariana Grande? So I asked my Lyft driver, and he said, oh, she has a sold out conference tonight. And everybody in Bricktown, are not can't figure out where to park because parking is all crazy as people are trying to get in for this event. Now, see, now that was relevance for me. I had a chance to understand, oh, that's what's going on. Well, imagine you do that with your industry or about your business name, or even better yet, your business name, your competitor's business name, so you can see what people are finding them and how they're finding your competitor, and maybe you can get some of those eyeballs looking at you. One person within the conference said they use it for seasonality and for tracking. Absolutely. See how amazing you can use it, because it does help with seasonal trends. It can help you even if you have something that has a longer sales cycle, so you need to look at years as opposed to just a few months. It can help with content and competitors, as well as know what is actually popular, let's say just on YouTube, if you want to focus just on YouTube. So you can narrow by location, you can look at totally what everybody's searching online, or maybe you just want to search in Addison, Texas, what they're actually doing there. Google Search Console. This is the door to Google's library. Understand, Google is not the World Wide Web. It is the biggest library of the World Wide Web. Now you can use the information here, feed it into AI to show, hey, these are the pages that are performing best for my site. This is where people spend time. These are the words that they're using. And now you have a better understanding of that best customer, and you're teaching AI, because you cannot use this tool. You cannot use AI without teaching it. The only way, somebody asked the question of how do you keep it from being biased? Well, you need to teach it for what you're looking for. So teach it who's that best client, teach your style, teach and learn from it as well who that best persona is. That will help you understand. Only humans can give you the real answer, especially when your customer is a true human. So take that when you find out from a best customer, because we as small businesses are pretty dang nimble, and we can reach out and ask a question. We don't have to come up with a committee or a survey or a focus group. We can just reach out to our customer and ask them, is this something you like or you don't like? And if we find out the actual answer, now we can program and teach AI that, so we don't even have to code. We just teach AI with our words. Our customer likes this. I need you to learn that, okay? Another tool that you can use is Merchant Center, so you can utilize AI to help you write your descriptions. And this is a great way for people to get seen either in Google search, on the shopping tab, which is Google's comparison shopping, which a lot of people like to use, especially if they're looking, let's say, for I want the whole kernel and I want to spend in between $15 to $30, and they are looking for something that is really close by to where they're at, so they can find out whether or not somebody has that brand or it in stock. And then also Google Images. You heard me talk about that a moment ago. Google Lens. You can use this, take a quick snap of something, and it'll look to see what fits there. So visual search is definitely something that Google's been doing for quite some time. Now, of course, a lot of people think it's just Google Ads, but it's not. When you're talking about search engine optimization, the low-hanging fruit here is to connect all the Google tools, because these are all pings to the algorithm that you are a viable business, especially when it's consistent amongst all the tools, your information. When it's consistent, Google has confidence in you, and Google is the number one search engine because it is providing correct information. So when it feels confident, it's going to put you higher in search. The more it feels like your correct information is matching and relevant to the person who's searching. Of course, there's other pillars. Relevance is number one. Two is distance. How far are you from the person searching? And three is the prominence. So that's the quality score. Do you get reviews? Do you respond to your reviews? Are you listening to your customers? Have you uploaded new video lately? When was the last time you updated your site? How fast is your site? Is it mobile responsive? all of those are all signals to the algorithm. So those three pillars is how Google determines where you show up. Now, Google ads are of course paid, and I don't encourage anybody to pay for anything until they've gotten all the other free tools that you can get with a free personal Google or Gmail account. You can use that, just all of the tools that I've just shown to you. But Google Ads does have a free portion that I love to talk to people about, and that is the keyword planner, because this is Google telling you what the keywords are popular and even what they're bidding for in ads if you're going to do ads. But if you're just trying to decide what to put in content around your best customer and what they need along their decision journey to help them actually buy from you, now you'll know. Okay? All right. You've heard me talk about it several times. So defining that best customer is very key. And this is where AI can help you become smarter too, because you can lean into it to find out your best customer's interests and maybe what challenges they're having now. And of course, you're going to double check and verify with an actual customer, hey, this is what's happening. So does that align with what you're doing? Are you confused about messy application navigation? So you see that frustration there. Let me go back to the slide. You see that frustration there that they have with, oops. There we go. Right here with messy application navigation, can't decide on the plan. But now I can double check with an actual human. Is that right? This is what AI thinks. Now I'm going to double check with an actual human. All right. And now if that is true, I'll tell AI, you are correct. I will also tell AI, you are not correct. It is this way, because AI cannot learn without you. I tell my boys that AI is like a toddler that I have to teach. Yes, no, don't touch. Yes, this works, but then this will also happen. So AI also is learning about consequences and the results of focusing in maybe and not actually paying attention to a potential target audience that you actually work with, but honing in on just something because it's the most popular or the biggest population of people available. Okay. Let's see. You can have more than one persona, but it's important for you to know exactly who you're speaking to in all of your content, because remember what I said about diluted? Once you diluted your messaging, it's really tough for people to even take that and share that with friends. So they can't even be a word of mouth piece for you because they just don't understand it. So how could they ever communicate that? Okay. In fact, I often tell people that when you hear somebody say, I can serve anybody, everybody, and somebody, or anybody that fogs a mirror, then that's usually code for the fact that I don't know who I serve, and I hope you can figure it out. So it's important for us to know this best customer. It's important for us to know how they actually consume and look for information and what they need to be able to make decisions. So what is their decision journey like? And does your path to purchase align with that? We also need to understand our buyer's awareness, because this is key on how we write our content. If somebody isn't aware that they have an issue, then us saying, oh, you want to make sure you have freedom to do this and this and that's not going to connect with them. They're thinking, no, this is the way it always is. This is the way we just put up with it. It's the way it is, right? But if they are problem aware, maybe they don't know a solution, you're writing a little bit different there. Maybe if they are solution, they know there's a solution, but they don't know you exist, that you have the product or service that can help them, then you write a little bit differently there. Okay, so really understanding what they want is important. And that is the strength of being a small business, because we can reach out and find that information directly from the source. So I was explaining to them, a lot of us are already programmed to have just really surface level conversations. Oh, how are you doing today? It's really hot out there today. So we know that. So when people ask us in business, what do we want to do? We want to make more money. We want to grow our business. But what does more money look like? And what does that get you? What is the end result? If the end result is time freedom and the fact that you don't ever have to work with a boss again, that's much different than just saying, I want to make $100,000 more this quarter than last quarter. And now you can get to your content that is more resonating and connecting with that person's true actual need. You can also look at your funnel, because a funnel, is awareness, conversion, or consideration, conversion and loyalty. So knowing that that's how a funnel works, where are you stuck and where do you need additional information? And this is where AI can help you see where people may be stuck and at least pose some questions to you that you can go test and ask a real human being. or it can help write for that, saying, okay, maybe I need to write for this because I know I'm stuck in awareness to consideration, which means I need to do a better job at listening and learning from my customers. So maybe what I need to do is upload all of this content in these comments that they said on these reviews, and now have you give me the sentiment of what's being said. What are the 10 things they love the most, and what are some 5 things that they don't love the most? Of the 10 things they love the most, do I say that in my description so that I'm relevant and people can find me when they're searching? Or it could be in the bottom half of the funnel, conversion to loyalty. So are they taking a conversion action? And that can be even nonprofit based. It might be volunteer, fundraiser, friend raiser. It could be any of that. The conversion event is any thing successful that happens on your site. So it could be they downloaded a PDF, watched a video, they entered their email address and filled out your contact form. But let's say it's you're stuck on the build and sustain customer loyalty. So now, are you staying in connection with your customers? Maybe AI can help you actually write some follow-up emails and can come up with an email schedule that really works for that best persona that you're dealing with. So your best customer, your target audience, but now you stay top of mind for them so you're not forgotten, because often we do get forgotten, not because we didn't do a great job, but because we're not in good constant contact. So they reach out to the people that are within arm's length just because that's who they remember. Their mind is so busy with so many other things, right? We're inundated all the time. So understand, AI is not going to take your job. I see a lot of content creators, influencers are like, oh my gosh, it's going to take it. And I'm like, no, it's a great enabler. So we need to know how to wield this tool. So how will you wield this tool? Well, it could be that you're going to use it for your content ideation, maybe even creation, because we all get stuck in that fresh perspective, that something being able to play off and be another mind for you could be that as well. So understand, I started with AI back in November of 2022, and one of the first things that I did with AI is I taught it how to understand the people that I wanted to learn from and hear from. So the first thing I had it do was read a lot of articles and a lot of YouTube transcripts, because remember, it wasn't reading video at the very beginning, so it had to read everything. It had to be actual text about Steve Jobs. I wanted it to understand Steve Jobs, the way he thought, how he processed things, how he formulated his ideas, and even how he communicated those ideas. After I taught him Steve Jobs, then I entered in more information about Elon Musk. I wanted it to understand Elon Musk. He can be very aggressive, and I wanted it to see that side of entrepreneurship and growth and leadership. Then, of course, to keep it a little fun, because I love fun in life. I mean, why are we doing what we're doing anyway? So I put Ryan Reynolds in there, and I can tell you that he gets the same reaction in any crowd as he did with this SBDC group. Everybody smiled and giggled when you think of Ryan Reynolds. He is an entrepreneur, but he's also got a real, snappy and snarky kind of personality that you add in there. And then, of course, I had to enter my favorite author, Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I wanted it to learn how you put first things first, and what you do to discern whether or not this goal is before this goal, and how do they build together. So now, after I taught my AI that, what I'm able to do is I'm able to say, hey, what would Steve Jobs think about this? I want to have a discussion between Steve Jobs and Elon Musk to talk about whether or not we should consider this, what other questions should be asked, what are some things that are going to potentially blindside us. Then after they have that conversation, I want to add in Ryan Reynolds and get his take on, is this really fun? Does this make it something where it seems kind of off the cuff and engaging, but it's really well planned and strategized? And then let's throw in Stephen Covey in there, because I've got priorities and goals. How does this work? So you see, that's what I did to teach AI. And I went back and forth with this in a communication to really teach AI to understand these different styles and understand why I needed those styles and what I was looking for. So for you, you can do that as well. But understand that AI cannot operate without you doing some teaching and customization. So one of the things that I have AI do is start with this prompt. It says, interview me to find my target audience. Is a lot of times how I start with businesses, because I work with so many businesses that tell me that they serve anybody. So this is usually the biggest challenge and the toughest mountain for people to climb, because they feel that if they target an audience, they're going to lose business somehow. that there's not enough in one target audience. So now AI will ask the questions that you see, the questions that asked me. And I answered AI, again, just typing that through, didn't even put punctuation or capitalization because AI doesn't care about that. It just wants the information. Then I asked it this question: break this down for me. Who are they? What are their challenges? What are their pain points? What do they need? And it gave me a little bit of information. I could say, yes, that works, or let me check that. Hold on to that thought because I've got to confirm that. Or look at these sites and these sites. Are you seeing that same thing? Look at my site and watch how people are consuming information there. Is that what you're seeing? Now, I asked it the question to write the target audience as a prompt that I can continue to use to build offers and funnels. And I actually took this prompt and I used it to teach Google Gemini. So I started with ChatGPT and I took it to Google Gemini because Google Gemini had not launched yet. In fact, Google Bard hadn't launched yet, but I wanted to teach already what ChatGPT had learned from me. So I was able to do that and answer those questions to help it even learn better exactly what I was looking for. So this is a tool that I like to use. Remember when I told you about looking at other people's experience and looking at competitive research? When I'm looking at competitors' comments, and you can do this also with your own, because a lot of times people, even with their own reviews, don't know what the number one verse or number one sentiment is, what people love. They don't know the 10 common positive items. You look at 4A, they don't know that. So they can't put that into their content or even ask AI to do it because they are blind to that. So I will have and actually export all of the comments and I will ask AI to give me the 10 common positive items. What are the top 5 common negative items? What is the most popular item, service, or product? Again, I don't want to go from my own head because at one time I might have been my best customer, but no longer because I've got all of this experiential knowledge behind me. So I need to go back to the mind and the search actions and the information my best customer has when they are ready to go no go, do, or buy. So what's the common concern? So you can look at this. You can actually do this with socials too. I love export comments for that because it can give you and actually collate information fast and process, which is what AI does. I mean, it can do it in less than a minute, which is great. All right. There we go. Just cleaned it up just a moment so you can now see that it does says you want to level up your prompts. All right, so I'm going to give you some framework, and these are really acronyms that'll help you kind of outline in your mind your prompts, helps you be more focused, and helps AI help you more. This is used for large language models. Now that ChatGPT 4.0 is out, I use this a lot. I love this tool. There's also, so ChatGPT is OpenAI, Claude 3, Haiku, and Sonnet. That Claude 3 is Anthropic, which is actually Amazon, and Google Gemini and Gemini Plus is of course Google. There's many others out there, so many. I mean, there's Jarvis. There's just so many different ones. Write Sonnet. There's just so many and still under development. But right now, I'm going to focus on these big three just because they're the most popular that you see out there. All right. All right, had to do a little fixing there. Not quite sure what happened between when I was in Odessa and here because that's the same presentation, but something happened. So no, we can at least, as I said, be flexible. Why use AI based large language models? Because this is how it can help. It can really get you to see other things and maybe consider and other perspectives that you can ask your actual customers about. So the RTF framework, you'll find all of these are acronyms that I'm sharing with you, all these different frameworks. All right, stands for role, task, and format. So what's the role? Maybe you're going to ask AI to be, you're going to be the amazing content director for the supplement company. I really need to think for you to think like that and truly understand that our best customer is our 35-year-old men and women who truly are ready at a point in their life to have better quality of life, better health. The task is I would like for you to help in creating a blog post. So it could be that, and it could be the format is I need this to also be not just in a blog post, but a social media post with emojis, a Twitter thread, everything else in between. I need all of that. Okay. So here's an example. The roles: you're a content creator, you have experience in social media. I want you to write a creative and engaging social media caption for a new launch, and it needs to be a Twitter thread. So 280 characters per tweet, and you can make the thread 7 or 8. So I can even get more specific in teaching AI and letting AI know what its actual parameters are and the goal. You can also use this format, risen. So that stands for role, instruction, steps, end goal, and narrowing. So the role is, what do I want ChatGPT to be? And or any AI. Again, this could be Claude, it could be Google Gemini, but I'm going to give it specific instructions on what I want it to do. I'm going to outline those steps because it's important in the format that it's doing it. So the sequence is important, what the end goal is, and then narrow things down because there might be a whole different bunch of answers it can come up with, and I want it to really focus in one persona, one area, one topic. So an example of this is the role I'm teaching AI. It's a business consultant now. You're going to act as a business consultant. This is what I want you to do. These steps, I want you to follow these 5 steps, and then of course the end goal is, or these 3 steps, the end goal is to create a blog post, and the narrowing is only for small business owners. So I don't need you to take in corporate America, publishers, influencers at all. This is small business owners. Another framework is ROADS. Again, these are acronyms: role, objective, details, examples, and sense check. So what is the role I want it to take? What's the objective? So what's the goal? The details of what I want. Now I actually share examples. So I actually upload examples that it can see in text and often in graphics too. Even in video, I'll have it take a look at it. And then I do a sense check, which means I ask AI, do you understand what this is? So it has to explain it back to me. We know this from teaching, that people learn best when they have to teach somebody else. So it's the same thing when actually AI has to regurgitate back. So it's active listening to tell me what I said, or if I ask it to, how would you teach somebody about this, and I see what it's doing, now I can correct it by giving it more information and teaching it what is the better way to do that, or what it also needs to consider. So in this instance for roads, you can see the role as a copywriter. They're going to create a landing page for a new fitness tracker. I'm showing some examples, and now I do ask it, do you understand what I'm looking for? And I'm expecting it to come back with all of these details. And if it doesn't, then I can say you've missed a detail, or you overlooked this, or you're spending way too much time into this, or you're copying the examples, which I've seen AI do as well. Chain of thought helps AI understand step by step. So I actually provide that chain of thought because that's what we as humans provide, is to let AI see that this is this step, and this, if this, then that, if this, then that. We're the ones who can teach that to AI. We also can do the chain of density, which means we may repeat and double check that AI actually knows and understands what's the benchmark, so it can now measure itself. Again, you're taking and tutoring AI through a process so that it can do it again, and it can do it pretty quickly. It just means that you have to give it feedback for course correction. All right, I've given you a lot of information here, I know. Now it's time for you to work with your clients and to apply what you learned, because knowledge is not powerful until it is applied. Understand, I always like to end with recap and resources. So you do now have a copy of the slides. You can find me on socials, connect with me. I'd love to hear what you've actually applied, and do virtual gift dances as well. Please get on our newsletter and maybe become a part of our free community, because I do answer questions there, do actual Loom video walkthroughs there within the community to help people truly understand things. And as I said from the very beginning, I am actually a national trainer with Google. Yes, I'm housed in the Midland, Odessa area. And this is a Google liaison that you need to make contact with. That's her email and phone number. So you can connect with Brittany and really get with her to see how we can help, because we like to customize everything that we do with any of the Google partners. And I'm happy to do that with you. Of course, I'm going to model what I always teach businesses, which is whenever you've given good service, good product, or good information, make sure you ask for a review, because 87% would have given you one had you asked. Now we went to Q&A. I don't have that section here for this part, but I do want to say thank you. I really appreciate SBDCs, every SBDC, because of what you do in helping small businesses grow and making sure they are profitable, because that impact not only makes an impact on their family, but truly on the community. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you today. And again, these resources are available to you. Thank you for accessing them. And if you have any questions, or if I can work with you in any way, I am happy to do that. Please reach out and talk to me or to Brittany. Thank you.